What if I told you that your childhood memories are lies, that the story you tell yourself about your past is mostly fiction, that your brain has been gaslighting you your entire life? Right now, you're remembering something from your childhood. Maybe a birthday party, a family vacation, your first day of school. You can see it clearly, the colors, the faces, the emotions. You'd bet your life that it happened exactly as you remember it. But here's the terrifying truth. There's a 60% chance that memory is completely false, and a 90% chance that the details you're so sure about never happened. I'm not talking about forgetting things. I'm talking about remembering things that never existed. Your brain is creating elaborate, detailed, emotional memories of events that are pure fiction. And the scariest part, you'll never know which ones are real. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your memory is your biggest enemy, why your brain lies to you every single day, and why the strong men throughout history knew something about memory that modern people have forgotten. This isn't just about psychology. This is about power, about control, about understanding the difference between what happened and what you think happened. And if you can't trust your own memory, what can you trust? Let me tell you about the day I realized my entire childhood was a lie. I was 28 years old, having dinner with my mother, telling her about this vivid memory I had from when I was 7. I remembered it perfectly. We were at my grandmother's house. It was summer. I was wearing a red shirt, and my grandmother made me this incredible chocolate cake because I'd won a spelling bee at school. I could taste that cake. I could feel the pride. I could see my grandmother's smile. My mother looked at me like I'd lost my mind. "Son," she said, "your grandmother never made a chocolate cake in her life. She was diabetic and hated baking. And you never won a spelling bee. You were terrible at spelling." I was furious. I argued with her. I knew what I remembered. I could prove it. But then she showed me photos from that summer. I was wearing a blue shirt, not red. We weren't even at my grandmother's house that week. That's when I started researching memory. And what I found changed everything I thought I knew about myself, my past, and my identity. Because if I could be that wrong about something so vivid, so emotional, so real, what else was I wrong about? And more importantly, if my memory was lying to me, how could I trust any of my beliefs about myself, my relationships, my life? Here's what the research shows, and I'm warning you. This is going to shake everything you think you know about your own mind. Your brain is not a video recorder. It's not a computer storing files. It's more like a Wikipedia page that anyone can edit, including you, every time you remember something. Dr. Elizabeth Loftus, the leading researcher on false memory, has spent 40 years proving that human memory is incredibly unreliable. In her experiments, she can implant completely false memories in 30% of people within just a few hours. She's made people remember being lost in a mall as a child. Never happened. She's made people remember spilling punch at a wedding. Never happened. She's made people remember meeting Bugs Bunny at Disneyland. Impossible, because Bugs Bunny is Warner Brothers, not Disney. But here's the terrifying part. These people don't just think these things happened. They remember them vividly. They have emotions attached to them. They would pass a lie detector test because they genuinely believe these false memories are real. Second, every time you remember something, you change it. This is called reconsolidation. When you recall a memory, your brain doesn't just access it. It rewrites it. It adds new information, removes old information, changes details based on your current mood, knowledge, and beliefs. That fight with your ex-girlfriend? Every time you remember it, you make yourself look better and her look worse. That childhood trauma. Every time you think about it, you add more drama, more emotion, more significance. Your memory isn't preserving your past. It's constantly rewriting it to fit your current narrative about yourself. Third, your brain fills in gaps with fiction. Scientists call this confabulation. When your brain can't remember something, it doesn't leave a blank space, it makes something up. And it does this so seamlessly that you never notice. You remember your first kiss happening on a sunny day, but you don't actually remember the weather. Your brain just filled in sunny because that fits the romantic narrative. You remember your father being angry when you got in trouble, but you don't actually remember his expression. Your brain just filled in angry because that's what makes sense. Fourth, suggestion can implant false memories. Dr. Julia Shaw's research shows that with just 3 interviews, she can convince 70% of people that they committed a crime as a teenager, a crime that never happened. Think about that. 70% of people can be convinced they committed a crime that never happened, just through suggestion, just through asking the right questions in the right way. Now think about all the times someone has asked you, remember when you, and then describe something you weren't sure about. How many of your memories started as someone else's suggestions? You don't take risks because you remember failing before. But what if that failure was actually a valuable learning experience that your memory has turned into trauma? Let me show you exactly how your brain creates false memories, because understanding the mechanism is the first step to taking control. Your brain has 3 stages of memory: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding is when something happens and your brain decides to save it. But here's the problem: your brain only saves fragments. It doesn't record everything. It saves the parts that seem important based on your current emotional state and beliefs. If you're already angry with someone, your brain will encode their neutral comment as hostile. If you're feeling insecure, your brain will encode a casual look as rejection. Storage is where your brain keeps memories. But it's not like a filing cabinet. It's more like a Google search. Your brain stores memories by associating them with other memories, emotions, and concepts. Every time you learn something new, it can change how your old memories are stored. Every time you have a new experience, it can alter your old experiences. Retrieval is when you remember something, but you're not just accessing the memory, you're reconstructing it. Your brain takes the fragments it stored and fills in the gaps with current information. Here's what most men don't understand. Memory is not just about the past. It's about power. It's about control. It's about who gets to define reality. Whoever controls the narrative controls the relationship. In every relationship, romantic, professional, familial, there's a constant battle over whose version of events is true. The person who can make their memories seem more real wins. Your ex-girlfriend says you never listened to her. You remember listening all the time. Who's right? It doesn't matter. What matters is who can make their version more convincing. Your boss says you missed a deadline. You remember having more time. Who's right? It doesn't matter. What matters is who has the power to make their version stick. Women are often better at this memory game than men. Research shows that women have more detailed emotional memories than men. They remember conversations more accurately. They remember relationship dynamics more clearly. This isn't because women are smarter. It's because they're more socially and emotionally focused. They pay attention to things that men often ignore. But here's the key. Just because their memories are more detailed doesn't mean they're more accurate. Detailed false memories feel more real than vague, true memories. Strong men don't get caught up in memory battles. They don't argue about what happened. They focus on what needs to happen next. They don't say, "That's not how I remember it." They say, How do we move forward? Weak men get trapped in memory loops. They replay conversations looking for what they should have said. They analyze past relationships trying to figure out what went wrong. They hold on to grudges, nurturing false memories of being wronged. Strong men understand that the past is a story, and they're the author of that story. They don't let false memories control their present reality. Since your brain is constantly rewriting your past anyway, you might as well influence the process. Focus on positive experiences. Celebrate small wins. Create meaningful moments. But don't do this through delusion. Do it through action. Create real positive experiences instead of trying to remember fake ones. And I want you to do something right now. In the comments below, share one memory that you're now questioning, one story you've been telling yourself that might not be accurate, one false memory that's been controlling your life. Don't worry about being vulnerable. We're all in this together. Every man watching this video has false memories. Every man has been controlled by stories that aren't true. Share this video with a man who needs to hear this, with someone who's trapped by his past, with someone who's letting false memories control his present, with someone who needs to understand that his brain has been lying to him.